Alright, what's up, y'all? So, right now it's like 3:20 a.m. and I'm gonna show y'all what my art looks like at 3:20 a.m. So, this is the same piece that I showed y'all the other day, and as you can see, I've added lots of garnishes and designs and outlines and dots and angles and colors and stuff like that. So, as I explained in the previous video, the top portion is where I started to create without looking at without looking at the paper. So I was looking in the sky, and this is very similarly to how the sky looked at the time. So that's where I started to, well, I didn't start with this, I did this later, but it just shows like how the clouds were at the time, like for the top. And then, as you go down, things start to get a bit more intricate and detailed, just like how it is, because when we do look at the clouds and when we do look at the sky, it has a different shape than the buildings and stuff like that. So I just wanted to use regular crayons and colored pencils or whatever for that. And so then as you continue to look down, you see dots everywhere. Those dots represent, points, people, destinations, locations, places people are going or have been. And the colors represent like red, for instance, represents passion, aggression, violence, and shit like that. So this part right here, this car, this car was it was a dirt bike or a truck or something actually. And when I was standing up on that, the bridge that I was explaining to y'all where I got this inspiration from, where I was drawing, like the location where I drew this, where I started to draw this, on that skinny ass bridge up high, somebody drove their dirt bike through, right? Right after I heard a bunch of shots, like a bunch of gunshots or whatever. And I'm up there drawing and I'm still drawing. The gunshots went away. And then a few minutes later, I see somebody drive up the bridge where I'm at, you know, through the thing on a dirt bike or whatever. So that's what I portrayed in this section because, like guns and shit, shooting, but traveling, having a journey and a destination, and something had to be communicated, and that's what blue is like, communication, Orange is like once you feel happy and enlightenment and you start to move around. Yellow is the happiness or whatever. Green is, it represents growth, you know, and all of the things that are green. What do we see? Representations of green. We see green and leaves. We see green as colors of banks and shit. We see green. We call things green even if it's not really green. Like lead, sometimes it's green, but sometimes it has a different color, but we still refer to it as green. Green on Christmas trees and regular trees, green. And Christmas deals with a lot of money and shit. That's how people see Christmas as a time to buy shit. So it'll be a lot of green shit, more green shit. It's like when you decorate the trees and shit. Speaking of that, let me show you. So right here, there's a Christmas tree right there. And I was gonna talk about the relationship between red and green, because I do like to use red and green together when I'm drawing and stuff like that. But I wanted to talk about it in terms of this Christmas tree, right? So let's say this Christmas tree was the shape of a triangle and it had 3 points. So it has an idea, a problem, a solution, and then it expands from the idea, problem, and solution as the 3 points, and then it becomes like you're content with the solution that you created, and now it becomes more of a square because you've learned to square out your circle. But regardless of that, like I said, red represents passion, aggression, intensity. Green represents growth, earth, and you have to do a lot of things on earth in order to obtain a certain amount of money and a certain amount of more greenness. You might have to garden, you might have to grow internally to create some shit to grow. So we know that that's is about growth or whatever. But I feel like when the two comes together and you're not really aware of what you're doing, I feel like this can be, something that's really played on you, because if you have these type of structures you're building and you're putting in your house, but you're not knowing the meaning and the reasoning and the intention behind each color, the shapes, the round circles and stuff, beyond it being just a tradition about what people did before, that's how people can call on and summon certain shit and not even realize. And then me talking about this shit, it just sound like I'm a crazy bitch. I just sound like one of those people like, oh, she's a conspiracy theorist, oh, she's this and that. But it's just like, when you really think about reality, especially in Sagittarius season, it's like there's a meaning and a reasoning behind shit. You feel me? It's a reason why people act the way they do, react the way they do, pay attention to the things they do, why everything. But it's like when sitting in Sagittarius season, it's like Thanksgiving is going on, the start of Christmas is starting going on, and holidays, people start to put lights up again. People start to feel like they want to do things like gather and like things that they don't normally do on a normal basis, like, but they think because of some reason they want to start doing it now. And it's like, of course we know, like I stated before in previous videos, Sagittarius is internal and external travel. It's what you're willing to expand on. It's your broad philosophical points of views of looking at the world, spirituality, and God, right? Broad philosophical points of views. It's like, I can't be thinking in a closed-minded space, using my brain for stuff it's not made for, trying to think about outcomes, about why somebody else would, create this holiday or do certain things where, I'm trying to figure out, like, why is everybody just him, or why is everybody trying to, and I just like to think about the root and not think so much about the person itself or the holiday itself, but like the energy behind it. So like, it's not the physical person, it's the spirit in the body. It's not the holiday itself. It's like, who started this holiday? Who started people to make them think and believe that we gonna have this holiday and it's gonna pass now years and years and years. It's the same thing with holidays, the same thing with politics, it's the same thing with religion. It's like, you had nothing to do with it and they didn't give a fuck what you thought about it, but you still carrying it and passing it down and shit. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, like, and it's so wild because, and of course, this is me just going off on a tangent from me after my art and shit. Yo, I really feel like my art is the most amazing shit I ever seen. Like, okay, so this is another angle. So if I turn it this way, you feel me? To me, this is more like, okay, those things that some type of car, some type of building, they produce smoke for whatever reason, right? But let's say this is my world that I'm creating, and I'm creating my own smoke. You know what I'm saying? Let's say there's a building and it's smoke, right? But then, like I was just explaining, like this Christmas tree right here. You feel me? It's like how I was saying, that's kind of like a triangle, idea, problem, solution. But this also looks like a triangle. This is also a triangle. This is also a triangle. This. So this is like you creating your own ideas. You seeing where the problems are, creating solutions. You content with the solutions. You're able to let it go and feel something else. Like, and so this also brings me back to what I was talking about in the previous video, because I drew this, like I said, when I went up there and I was on the bridge and I was looking around, I drew it, right? I drew it a lot that day, colored some stuff, and then after I added more color and I added more emphasis to things, and I added just more of how I was feeling at that time, so this is another example of like how you can expand your art and how you can create your own assignments. You can create your own curriculums. You can create your own way of expanding and getting better at art because you're creating the curriculum. You get what I'm saying? Like I never heard of this before. Like what I'm doing right now, like these is just things I know. You feel me? Like when you want to get better at art, when you want to get better at whatever you're doing, you gotta go outside more. You have to explore more. You have to see things from multiple perspectives and not be afraid of, like what you bring and what you have to offer because we already know how the world is fucked up. It's a lot of multiple choice tests where you gotta be one of these answers. It's a whole bunch of colleges where you can only major in this, and this, or you gonna decide it. What if you decided, but it's just not there for you to. But anyway, so like I was saying in the previous video, where you could create billboards. You feel me? This is like you creating your own holidays. You feel me? Because like I just stated, this is a symbol. This tree, this Christmas tree, is a symbol that somebody else created and passed down and stuff like that or whatever. And like I said, I wasn't a part of that meeting. You wasn't a part of that meeting. They didn't give a fuck what you thought. For some reason, a lot of people later just decided that it was superior and it was cool and we're gonna keep passing it down. I think this is cool. You feel me? I think it's cool how I can create my own billboards. I can create my own holidays. Not only can I create my own holidays with my own meaning and reasoning behind those holidays and what it's for and stuff like that, but also what I'm seeing and receiving that day, whatever food it is that I'm eating during that time, because that's another thing. When it comes to these holidays and shit, not even just holidays, my experience being around so much food, I realize how much people try to control and manipulate things and move stuff around. Like, it's not just your family, like, oh, like everything is cool now despite everything that was going on previously to this. I'm real good at cooking food, so come get a plate and let's just play a game or something. No, like, you feel me? Like, you can't, like, this is a time and a place to be lighthearted about things. And when it comes to certain delusions, being lighthearted about certain delusions can create catastrophic events or whatever. But right, so like, let's say the reason I'm saying this is because, like I said, manipulation and control and these tactics and these ways that people can attack you that you might not even realize or know is going on can play into food, right? Holidays, we know there's a lot of energy going on when we go over other people's house and they make food and we come get the food and stuff like that. And then there's also if you work at a restaurant, like, I don't know, like, my perspective on so many things has really expanded because my experience, right? So it's like, I've worked all kind of jobs. I worked fast food restaurant jobs. I worked restaurant jobs. I worked, you feel me, in restaurant jobs. I worked as a janitor, dishwasher, a busser, a food runner, a waitress, a bartender, a barista, like, and a truck driver. I worked at the FedEx airport, like filling up the planes and having to do it real fast, and that shit was cool. I worked as an elementary school teacher. I worked at summer camps. I worked at, I worked at car washes. I worked at so many different places, and I'm able to see from a different perspective every time. So when I draw, I feel like it's just an accumulation of paths and things I've gained up until this point, the skills, and how I can learn to get the next skill. You get what I'm saying? Like me being open to talk about like these descriptions in this art that I have, not be scared to do it, is ways that I can expand. You feel me? Just like I would when I would work different jobs. And I feel like it's at this point where I need to learn, like, sometimes I prioritize that job so much. But it's like, I know I have the ability to create my own jobs, and I know it's not all about money. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, when it's consistency and when it's serious And when I'm giving it my all, it be for jobs and shit. You get what I'm saying? But it's just like, I know all of that energy could be placed in other areas, you know? So like when things happen, like I quit or get fired and stuff like that, I do feel free, like, yes, like now I have time to like, now I have to give a fuck about time and blah, 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 blah. But then at the same time, I get this push to make something happen. But what I'm trying to make happen and go to the next stage is directly related to other jobs. You feel me? Like when I've not had a phone, when it's hot as fuck, when I can't even see myself working at certain jobs, that's when I'm willing to take the risk and go hard and not give a fuck about the weather, not give a fuck about food, not give a fuck about being thirsty. And I have this push and this drive because I'm like, I'm about to get some more money though. Like I'm about to keep working and getting another consistent thing or whatever. But I feel like I said, there's a time and a place to be lighthearted about things, especially when it comes to certain delusions, right? So there's a delusion there for me in my areas of life, because it's like I know what I need to do, but I also see what's easier in what I do, you know. So it's like you could continue to create your own paths that you really walking and realistically going through and you taking serious, or you gonna continue to take other people's dreams and shit serious, and all the other shit that's art and all that shit is just become like some type of on the side. Like that's not that serious. But this is what's more serious, you know. So it's like you will reap what you sow. You feel me? So what is it like I've also stated before in previous videos, what you value and what you have to offer to the world, for me personally, is so important that I'm willing to not only know what it is that I value and what I have to offer to the world, but also showcasing and communicating that, because I have second lord in the, like, it's like between the third house, because it's like I have a third house Scorpio stellium, but my Venus is in Scorpio, but I think it also is a little bit like Libra shit or whatever. But anyway, so like if my second house is in Libra and Libra's ruled by Venus and I have Venus in the third house, that I mean my second house lord is in the third house. So it's like what I'm valuing and what I have to offer to the world, communicating that in my familiar surroundings, people, places, and things, or whatever. But if it also comes with the fourth house, that's like my second house lord if it's in Libra, and if I have Libra in the fourth house, hypothetically, it would be like me putting what I value and what I have to offer to the world, whether gift, traits, or attributes, second house, into my privacy and my home matters and my domestic issues. And if I'm really thinking about it, I feel like it makes more sense to put what I value and what I have to offer to the world, whether gift, traits, or attributes, into my familiar people, places, and things, and surroundings, and what's in close proximity to me, and what I'm familiar with, versus my privacy, home matters, domestic issues. Like, I feel like there's a thin line between, like, sharing your art or talking about your art or what it is that you have to offer to the world and comfortable, like, because your fourth house is your privacy, home matters, domestic issues, but it's also where you feel comfortable at. Sometimes familiar people, places, and things and what's in my surroundings and close proximity is uncomfortable as fuck for me. You get what I'm saying? So to me, it makes more sense to do the thing that is kind of harder. You feel me? But it works. You get what I'm saying? Like this is a familiar surrounding to me right now. This environment is familiar. You get what I'm saying? But it's different than being home, family, domestic issues. You get what I'm saying? So like, yeah. But like I said, it's like it's 3:33 a.m. right now. This is the government phone, y'all. This don't even got a company for real. But it's one of those phones where it's just like sometimes you gotta get one of these phones when your fucking phone cracked and fucked up. You know what I'm saying? I'm grateful for it. It came with headphones, fucked up headphones. You could barely hear anything in it, but I'm grateful. It came with a charger, you feel me? Um, you know what I'm saying? So, anyway, I really just came up here because I wanted to talk about my art, and I just wanted to talk about other things at this time of day. Um, but yeah, feel me? This is what I got. Yeah, listen.